I'm here representing a number of pensioners in Haworth and in Darlington. We are concerned about the decision of the Council to downgrade the existing scheme on the implementation of the government scheme at the beginning of April. Now, the downgrading in question is not allowing travel before 9:30. We're concerned, we're trying to understand the arithmetic. We don't understand it at all. We've had statements from various councillors, we've had various sums of money mentioned, but no one has explained the arithmetic behind this. We've also carried out a small survey, and we found that the buses travelling before 9:30 are empty, and the buses travelling after 9:30 are full. In fact, in one case, I was told out of a full bus after 9:30, there was only 3 people paid their fare. Now, this confirms our suspicion that the decision is made on forecasting rather than actual finance. The government has said there is sufficient money. Obviously, Darlington Borough Council feel there isn't.
Yes, okay. If I can start first of all by talking about the national scheme that the government's introduced. And the new scheme is a national statutory scheme. There's been quite a bit of misinformation around about that. In fact, there's been some things in the newspapers which are just plain untrue. So I think there have been claims that the government have actually provided money for a whole day scheme. In fact, it's quite clear if you go back and look at the parliamentary record and look at what Gordon Brown says, that he's always said what is the case, that actually the money's just been provided for councillors to provide free travel after 9:30. So that's the national picture. Just to explain to you about the costs for Darlington. In terms of the Darlington situation, the government's provided another £482,000 of money for the concessionary travel scheme in Darlington, which means that in total the government's putting in about £1.4 million of money. The whole scheme's costing us £2.7 million of money. So that means that the council's putting in £1.3 million of, if you like, local taxpayers' money. And that's a choice to be made. If we wanted to fund the travel before 9:30, more money would be required, and that could be spent on other things. So it's a hard choice that councillors had to make as to whether to put money into the before 9:30 travel or other things. So how did we come up with those numbers was the question. Yes, the estimates that we looked at had to be done on surveys. Obviously, we had to make budget estimates before the scheme came into place, and we looked at how people were actually travelling before 9:30 and after 9:30 last year. And the figure that's been used is that 10% of travel last year by people on with bus passes was before 9:30, and that's the estimate we've used. Now, a lot's changed this year. The new national scheme has huge benefits in that people can travel in different parts of the country. So someone from Taunton or Tiverton or County Durham can come and travel in Darlington and travel for free on our buses, and Darlington Council has to pay for those people even though they're not Darlington residents. So it's quite hard to estimate in advance what travel patterns will be. But the estimate we made was based on the real travel patterns last year of 10% of travel.
Yes. Now, could I follow that up with what you actually said? What I would like to ask you is, would you be prepared, in view of these anomalies that you agree on, that you carry out a review at the end of a period? And if the review finds that what we are saying is correct, then you would review the 9:30 situation regarding pensioners' travel.
Yes, we've said quite clearly that we would do surveys during the course of the year. Undoubtedly, travel patterns will change during the course of the year. They'll have changed straight away at the beginning of April as people got used to the new privileges that are available and the new restrictions as well, and they'll change as people get used to it over the course of the year. So we will do new actual surveys to work out travel patterns. And yes, the council reviews its budgets every year, so I'm sure that this is one of the things that will be reviewed when the budget's reviewed next year.